this word awareness, it means something to me. It's, to me, if you have this, it's a gift. But sometimes it's not easy to really have it. I got it in a situation, I don't know if a lot of my clients know this, but I was incarcerated for a couple of years. And in that time frame, I was put in solitary confinement. And for
Wow.
So, yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Didn't we just have a conversation a couple weeks ago about not talking about certain things?
There's a point to what I'm trying to say. I can't speak about this stuff unless I say where it's coming from. It wouldn't be real if I didn't say that. So I'm sorry if I shocked you. But what happened?
We still love you.
In that time frame, I actually was in solitary confinement for an incident, and I was in a bad place for a couple of months, alone, stripped down to nothing, barely nothing, to the bare of nothing, rock bottom. And it took that for me to be sitting there alone in this little place to find myself. Where most people, I hope it doesn't ever come to that point, but for me it did. But when I look back at that, I thank God every day that happened to me, because it completely changed me forever. I'm a different person than I was when I left. I didn't like myself when I left. I love myself now. And in that cell, I got this word, awareness. That day was the catalyst, that first day in solitary, that opened my eyes. I faced my fears that day. I realized the things I did wrong. I started seeing the kind of person I wanted to become, things I wanted to do, what I wanted to accomplish, how I wanted to be perceived, what I was doing to my family at that time. I faced everything. And when you face everything, then you see things a lot clearer. So I go into this and I say, humble yourself. Now, no one's going to be doing anything extreme that I did, but there are ways to humble yourself. One is what Greg just did. He showed you that video. That's a humbling experience to see something like that, because we get caught up in our own nonsense every day, the stuff that we get caught up in. When we see this guy who took action, who did something for a good cause, and he did it. So that's humbling. Going to a homeless shelter, going to a hospital to see sick kids or people in a burn unit, those are all humbling experiences. Now, sometimes they're not pleasant, but they're wake-up calls. And they could put you in a mindset to think differently. Once you find yourself to be in a humble mindset, you could start doing things differently. Like having the courage to be honest with yourself. I go through bullets here because these are all products of awareness. There's many more. These are just some things that came to me I wanted to share. Finding the courage to be honest with yourself. Sometimes we come up with fictional worlds to protect ourselves from reality, and you get caught up in everyday grind. Before you know it, you can be living lies just to get by. And it's difficult sometimes, but you want to be honest with yourself, because with truth comes progress. So to be honest with yourself is very important always. Don't lie to yourselves. If any of you ever followed Anthony Robbins, his big thing is the pain question principle. That applies huge in fitness. As far as what we do with people with dieting, eating, and training, a lot of people associate pain with eating, well meaning what I see, say, think of it well. Grilled chicken, vegetables, all that stuff. And then hard, strenuous exercise. When someone comes into our gym for the first time, the things that we bring to the table are painful. And they associate pleasure with not doing them. What we have to try and do is change our way of thinking to associate pain with eating bad food, because it's going to cause you more pain down the road. To embrace and understand that, to associate pleasure in exercising, to embrace the success. And once you start doing well with exercise and start eating well, and you see some results and you lose a couple of pounds and you feel better about yourself, that's when you're going to change your mindset. And you're going to start associating pleasure with eating good food and exercising, whereas there was pain before. So it's understanding and being aware of these pain and pleasure principles that's going to allow you to make the changes. It's one thing to just go through them. So we help take everyone through them. And we know what's going to happen to these people before it happens because we're going to take you through it. But if you could understand it, really grasp it yourself, you'll have a better control of it. To understand why you're pushing the plate away. This is bringing me pleasure right now. The feeling of pushing that plate of food is going to bring me pleasure. Once you are blessed with awareness, you also have more clarity. You're clear in your thinking. When you're clear in your thinking, you make better decisions. You make better choices. You make those changes necessary to be happy. You'll make better choices with food because you're going to have clarity, because you're thinking clearer, because you're aware. Also, perception. By being aware and bringing yourself all these things and being clear on everything, you're in a better place. When you're in a better place, you perceive things differently. So, if there's 3 people in the room, and I'm having a conversation with 3 people might leave that conversation thinking something different. One person might leave and say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. Another person might leave and say, yeah, he's okay. Another person might leave and say, I think he's great. What's the difference? I said the same words to everybody. It's the perception of me. So it's all about where they are mentally, what place they're in, that's going to allow them to absorb what I'm saying. So if we're happy, if we're making the right moves, if we're doing all the right things, and we're clear up here, then we're going to perceive things differently. When someone's speaking to us, or we're watching a movie, or we're in a situation, or if we're stressed out at work, we're going to look at it from the best possible outlook, not the worst possible outlook, from a positive standpoint. I believe that all these things come from awareness, from just opening your eyes to other stuff. By being happy from this, it will help you instill and change old disempowering beliefs into a strong belief system. Greg touched upon some of this stuff. I feel strong beliefs are honesty, positive attitude, commitment to excellence. We don't want to settle for mediocrity. Loyalty. To me, loyalty is extremely important. Probably the most important. Because who you are, if you don't have your word, then you don't have anything. To be loyal is very important. Have people trust you. Habits. Be aware that our minds, our subconscious minds, control 90% of our daily habits, daily routine. We don't want to think. We just want to do. A lot of us have bad habits. If we're aware of this, we understand that we don't want to think, then we can control that and we can change it. So therefore, we got to change our habits. We have to protect ourselves from ourselves. So instead of doing 3 or 4 bad habits a day, we got to replace them with 3 or 4 good habits a day. We have to know which habits we have to change and replace them. Decisions. Decisions will control your whole life. With clarity, with being happy, with perceiving things well, you're going to be making a decision pretty much every second of your life. Where to go tonight? Where are you going to go eat? What are you going to do tomorrow? What movie you're going to go see? What are you going to do with your children? These decisions shape your destiny. So, let's make good decisions from being aware. Let's make the right moves. Goals, another thing that Greg touched upon. Me and Greg see eye to eye on a lot of things. To be aware that we always need to have goals. In all different aspects of life. A lot of us here deal with fitness. I train a lot of you. I help a lot of you with food and so forth. But goals are not limited to physical. We should all have an emotional goal for a relationship that we're in or we want to be in. We should have an emotional goal. That's very important. Spiritually, I believe in God. I have a strong faith. I'm private about my faith. I pray. I'm not a huge church goer, but I believe in God and I pray. We all should have, some kind of a spiritual connection to whatever we perceive God to be. We should make it a point to improve on that. Set goals, help, to pray more, to be more involved with your faith. Mentally, focus, to prosper, to do something strong, to do something well, have a goal mentally, to stay strong, financially, to do something to make more money, to set a goal, to, maybe nothing, doesn't have to be anything major, but to try and achieve something over the next 6 months, to save something. Just even small goals, but try and touch every one of these: emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, financial. If you could save $1,000 extra, if you could, have more faith and pray more, you could achieve something in the gym that you haven't done before, emotionally, in a relationship, if you could get to another level. These are all things you want to be doing so you can always better yourself. And whatever you decide to commit to, it's crucial that you're always willing to make changes as you go. The most important thing is to be aware of the fact that life evolves, the world evolves, things evolve. You can't get set in your ways. You have to be willing to make the changes necessary to keep evolving and succeeding. I work with clients every day in weight loss. And people go through peaks and valleys. Sometimes they go through a couple of 2-3 week period where they don't lose weight. So when this happens, I start panicking as a trainer, because I don't want them to lose focus, and I want to keep them in a good mindset, and that's my job. So what do? I come up with new ways for them to lose weight. that's my job. And to come up with a new diet, to come up with a different workout, something different. It has to be done. If I just sat there and said, all right, well, what's going to go in tomorrow? And the scale's not moving for 3 weeks, and I don't come up with something new, then eventually they're going to sink. Because that's my mindset. Maybe they'll come out of it themselves, but my mindset is to keep evolving, and that's how we all have